Okay, welcome to another prepared flight simulator video. And in this video I'm here at Innsbruck, Austria, and I'm going to fly to an airport in Italy. This time I'm going to be using the Mooney Acclaim. That's this vessel, and the reason I'm using this vessel is because I know how to set up the navigation equipment. And this flight was requested by somebody who watched one of my sort of fly around videos where I'm looking at different parts of the world, and they said that this would make for a really good a nice looking flight flying over the Alps. So I thought I'd do that. Let's just go ahead and jump right in. This will probably be a little bit longer flight since we are going from point A to point B, and I might even have to break this up into two videos because the distance is about 146 nautical miles. So let's just go ahead and get started. Let me put the flaps down one notch. Release the parking brake. I've already got all the navigation stuff dialed in. So let's go full throttle. And right away, I already know that I will personally enjoy this flight because I'm sitting here on the runway looking at some nice mountains. And again, in the flight sims, I just really think mountains look just really nice. So let's pitch up here. Raise the landing gear, and I can hear that raising. Ooh, pitching very steeply though, so I don't think I had the elevator trim set properly. There we go. See if I can have a smoother flight. Actually, if you look down there at the left on the road, you can see some cars. Again, I do have that traffic simulation set up. And I don't know why my joystick keeps resetting to the seat when I hit the reset button. I use the hat switch to look around, and then I've got another button set to just reset the view to the center, but it seems like for some strange reason all of a sudden it wants to reset the view straight down looking at the seat. So we need to go to a heading of about 227, but it looks to me like before we do that we're going to have to fly down this valley a bit, because right now if we turn to 227 we're going to be flying right into that mountain, and that would not make for a good day. So we're going to just fly this heading here, get down the valley a bit, climb up to, oh, I don't know. I didn't do any homework to find out what the mountain peaks were at, but we'll get up above them. And then we'll turn. Actually, we won't be turning this way. We will be turning that way. Yeah. Alright, so I have one of my navigation set up wrong, so let me just make a quick change. I had that CDI button on the glass cockpit. It's currently set to nav 1. I'll click it. Now it's nav 2. Click it again. Now it's on the GPS. Okay, now actually if you look down at that panel here, you can see what I'm talking about. So our flight path, our course is going to be here, so we're going to have to turn that direction, but we're going to have to climb up above all these mountains first. So we'll be flying that way. Always makes you really comfortable and confident in your pilot when they want to fly in the opposite direction of what they're supposed to, doesn't it? Anyway, we are here to enjoy the view mostly. Speaking of the view, let's actually take one quick look outside. I'm not a big fan of flying from external views, but since we want to see, and I could have swore I raised the landing gear. I heard the noise when I hit the button. That's irritating to me when that kind of stuff happens. I have mapping issues with my buttons. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And since I raised the landing gear, I'm pitching way up, so let me jump back inside and fix that. So otherwise we will stall. You can see our airspeed dropping way down. And while I'm doing that, let me raise the flaps. So we're probably going to have to fly straight forward till we get to the other side of that hill, then we'll turn and go toward our destination, because right now I don't think we could turn around in this tight canyon and fly back that way and go up that canyon, which would probably be preferred, but we just don't have the altitude to do that. Got my trim wheel hooked up, so I can now have much smoother control over, over my pitch control. I got one of those Cytec Cessna trim wheels. I actually have two trim wheels. One of them is integrated into one of the GoFlight products that I have from way back when I was flying FS 2002, 2004. But that trim wheel, I don't really like it as well. It's really small. The Cytec trim wheel is much nicer. Anyway, let's look around. The clouds look really good in this simulator, in my opinion. They have a very believable sort of quality to them. Puffy, but not pixelated or boxy. We're getting about up high enough where we'll be able to start banking toward our actual target destination, toward get on course basically. So put in a little bit of left roll. We're gonna hug this canyon pretty tight because we're pretty far off course at the moment, so we don't want to waste too much time and fly way down the canyon farther than we absolutely have to. But we're still pretty low compared to these mountains. They're clearly above us, so we don't want to bank too aggressively and fly into them. Coming around to our proper heading here. And of course we're going to have to fly a bit to the south of that heading in order to get back on course, because we're definitely not on course at the moment. That is beautiful. But let's look at our instruments here for a little bit. Okay, let me go to level flight here. Rather not level, but straight, so no bank angle. And let's just make sure that we have things set up properly. I'm noticing my GPS here doesn't have my position and all that, so let's figure out what's going on there. Let me just input, let's see, turn off the FPL. I think I just have to activate it, so let's clear. Enter, yeah, activate, I think. Alright, just bear with me while I get the GPS set up. So direct. We want to go to LIMC. So we have to go forward one letter. No, back. Forward. And the letter I. probably turn on the autopilot while I'm doing this, but I'm not going to. So L-I, okay, now forward another letter. M-C, okay, there we go, now enter, and activate. Okay, we've got that. Now turn off the flight plan information. I don't know why it still has this airport window open. Procedures, clear. Okay. Well, generally I know how to use this GPS, but at the moment it is in some state that I'm not at all familiar with. Oh wait, here we go, I think. Yep, that's what I needed. Okay, I just needed to have it set on map. I guess for some reason it was defaulting to waypoint. So anyway, we are now on map, which is what I need. Now I can adjust the zoom level, and I guess that'll be okay. Alright, so we're a little bit off course. Let's bank to the left. Bank quite a bit to the left, in fact. And I'm going to say altitude is pretty good, so let's go ahead and just level things out as well. Careful not to drop the nose. We don't want to necessarily lose altitude. So just subtle adjustments on the trim wheel there. Banking around to the left, I want to overpass my heading a bit so that I can get on track with the GPS line. As you can see right now, the GPS line's a little to the left, so if I fly straight according to that heading, then I probably won't really ever catch up to it. But if I kind of overshoot and fly to the left of the heading a bit, then I'll catch up to it a little more quickly. And we've still got 120 nautical miles to go to the destination. Can see the distance here, and I'm not over speeding, by the way. I know it looks like I am according to this glass cockpit view. This is one of the known problems with this particular flight sim. The G1000 glass cockpit view is not calibrated correctly for this particular flight, for this particular vessel. But if we look over here to our sort of backup gauges, you can see that we're still in the green according to this gauge here. We don't get into the red until we get way out here, and these numbers are correct, or this gauge is correct. So I don't know what version of Prepared will fix this, but I didn't see it on the list of things they're working on for version 2.05. Or 2.1 for that matter, so I'm not sure when that's going to be fixed. But it's not that big of a deal, really. You know, as long as you know that your backup gauge is right over here and you can watch it to make sure that you're not overspeeding. Not that big of a deal, really. Okay, now we are on course. In fact, we kind of overshot a little bit because I wasn't paying attention. So now we're going to bank back to the right. And since we pretty well have everything under control, we'll go ahead and enable the autopilot system just to, you know, take away some of the tedium of constantly just making small adjustments to the bank angle and all that. So let's bring down the autopilot control. I think it's shift 5. Nope. 4. Yeah, shift 4. And I got to drag that down here, and what we'll do is we'll turn on the altitude hold. Actually, no, let me not do that because I don't have the altitude set. So the first thing I'll do is set the altitude. You can see currently it's set to 0. So let's raise that to a number that we can work with, like somewhere around our current altitude will be fine. So something like that. Now we'll turn on the altitude hold so that we don't have to constantly make adjustments there. And we'll turn on the navigation hold, which currently our navigation method is set for GPS, so it will keep us flying according to the heading that's required by the GPS. Alternatively, we could click HDG, which would be a heading hold, and then we could just make manual adjustments to the heading. But and that's pretty easy to fly that way as well, but it's even easier if you just use the navigation hold, so we'll do that. Okay, now let's get this out of the way. And let's take a look around. Let's look at the outside view one more time. It's a bit of automatic camera system stuff that it does, so I'll let it stop, and then I'll kind of pan the camera a bit with the hat switch. I wonder what my Agl altitude is. I don't think there's any... I don't think the instrumentation tells you that. That would be above ground level. So even though I'm at, 15,000 feet, I don't necessarily, obviously I'm not that high up above the mountaintop. So my Agl is probably only, 1,000 or 1,500 or something like that. Let's jump back inside and let's look at the GPS. If we zoom out, if we add in some range, which apparently that's one of the few things that works in the virtual cockpit. For the most part, you can't click on anything in the virtual cockpit. It's a bug. It's a known bug. They're working on it. But if we extend our range here, we can kind of see where we are in the world. There's so much stuff on there, I can't hardly tell where I'm at. Alright, let's reduce our range a bit. Yeah, I can't even really tell from the shapes of the continents and the countries. I can't really tell where I'm at. I'm not real familiar with this part of the world. Okay, well that's fine. We'll zoom back in on our location. And if we check our fuel gauge, it looks good. This particular vessel burns fuel from one wing or the other. It doesn't have like a dual feed, so you kind of want to watch that every now and then to make sure you're not draining too much fuel from one side and getting your vessel out of balance. I think if we pan down, yeah, you can see the fuel selector here. The only options are left wing or right wing. You can't set it in the center to have it drain from both. So on longer flights, you probably want to switch over to the right tank after a while just to make sure that your plane's not getting really out of balance. But this is a nice plane to fly. Has has a good sophisticated cockpit, instrumentation, and it's very easy to fly. It wants to stay. It wants to fly straight and level. It doesn't have a tendency to torque to the left or yaw to the right or anything like that. Some of the other planes, even the standard Cessna, has a tendency to sort of pull one direction. I think it's to the left. So you have to put in a bit of right rudder trim if you want to, if you want to fly manually. You have to put in a bit of right rudder trim to offset for that. But this plane, for the most part, flies straight and level really well. So if you want to fly manually without doing anything with the autopilot, it's easier to do that. And its cruise speed is pretty good. You know, we're cruising along at, 235 knots. So you can get to your destination in fairly short order. You know, you're not going to get there as fast as you would, if you were flying the F-22 Raptor at, Mach 1.25. There's a nice little village or something down there, it looks like. But the F-22 Raptor runs out of fuel pretty fast if you're flying at really high speeds. I've done some fly-arounds, just, flying around different parts of the country, and literally like 10 minutes, and you're out of gas. I'm assuming that's realistic, and it's just kind of almost hard to imagine how they get anywhere with, with having fuel that you just burn through so much fuel so fast. It's amazing that they can fly anywhere. Though I guess at 10 minutes of flight at Mach 1.25, I suppose you get going pretty far. But of course you can extend that range by slowing things down. If you don't fly at really high velocity, you're not going to burn through fuel nearly as fast, and you'll actually go a lot farther. Quick look at the GPS, and we are on target. I have no idea what these types of symbols mean. I've always needed to look that up. Some kind of, I don't think it's like an indicator of a particular airspace, so I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it's indicating like a high mountain range through that area. Not real sure. This is just some other small airstrip. It's probably a grass strip, or maybe even a water landing spot. Actually, I don't think it's water landing. I think all water landings start with X, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but there's a small little grass strip over there to the right somewhere. Probably won't be able to see it. Small town down there, kind of hidden behind this part of the cockpit at the moment. And our little grass strip is a little bit behind us now. I wonder if I can see it. No, I think it's blocked by the wing. And the outside air temperature is -4. I don't think I turned the pilot heat on. I should probably do that. Got the pilot heat on now, so we won't freeze in here. A little bit of turbulence. Another one of these blue areas. I wonder what that means. If anybody knows, let me know. Have to watch this turbulence because we're not real high up above these mountain peaks. Wouldn't take much to drop our altitude by several hundred feet and slam us into one of these mountains. looks like over here, that kind of where the mountain range ends. Actually, maybe that's what those blue boxes mean. Because if you look carefully on the other side of that peak right there, it looks like the elevation drops significantly and it's really flat out there. So maybe that's what that box represents, like where the elevation changes significantly. Let's see, if that's the case, then as we fly forward and we cross here, then the peaks would go away basically, or decrease significantly. We'll see. We'll be getting to that point here fairly shortly. Let me just a quick check of the time. Okay, we're coming up on about 30 minutes for this part of the video, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and I'm just going to continue flying. We'll pick it up in a second part to finish the last 58 nautical miles or so. If you like this kind of video, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're interested in orbiter spaceflight simulator. That's the primary focus of my channel, but I'm also kind of playing around with the flight simulators as well, so subscribe if you like that kind of stuff. And look down at the description below. You can get a link to my Facebook page. I post all my videos on Facebook, and I also post various space-related articles and other things that you don't get to see on my YouTube channel, so check that out as well. And I will see you in the next video.